before court, since some of these cases are before court, and in line with the rules of procedure, it will not dwell on the specifics of these cases, since this might constitute sub judice as per Rule 73, which in part reads that a member shall not refer to any particular matter which is sub judice. So, the committee restrained itself from dwelling into the details of what is before court. On implementation of social services, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee noted that the PAPs had highlighted a number of additional services to be considered as part of the RAP. This included water and sanitation facilities, electricity provision, upgrading of health center 2s to health center 4. The committee noted that where these social services are not catered for under the RAP, they are provided for in the Community Development Action Plan or the corporate social responsibility from the developers of Karuma Hydropower project. The committee also observed that the failure to provide essential social services undermines the well-being of the resettled communities. This undermines also the community acceptance and trust in the project, potentially resulting into resistance and reduced public support for future initiatives of government. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee therefore recommends that the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development should prioritize to avail the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development with the necessary funding so that it can promptly implement the social services action plans as outlined in the RAP. The committee also recommends that Minister of Energy and Mineral Development should expedite extension of electricity to the neighboring communities, especially public institutions, because it negates understanding for you to be the community from which electricity is generated and yet remain without supply of energy. Implementation of the Community Development Action Plan. The committee observed that funding by government remains very low despite the CDAP being a critical foreseeable expenditure requirement. Out of the 38.3 billion meant for the implementation of the CDAP project, only 0.3 billion has been received, resulting to non-implementation of planned constructions. Number two, it was also observed that in the imperative that government avails funding for the CDAP, initiatives in the project host communities, it was observed that it is imperative that government avails funding for implementation of the CDAP initiatives in the project-affected communities. This will help to have a buy-in from the communities and to facilitate project acceptance. Recommendation that the committee recommends that the government provides the 3.82 billion for the CDAP activities under Karuma over the next 3 financial years. 5.5, acquisition of land titles for public institutions. The committee observed that the absence of land titles for public institutions create legal and ownership uncertainties which could lead to future disputes. It recommends, therefore, that the relevant authorities should expedite the process of issuing land titles and to these public institutions so as to ensure clear ownership, legal protection, and the ability to access further development opportunities. Number two, that the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development should refrain from boundary opening on land that they have not fully acquired until the PAPs have been fully compensated and relocated. Mr. Speaker, as we come towards the end of this report, on the issue of land ruggles at Karuma Primary School, Mr. Speaker, the committee established that there is a dispute regarding the amount of land taken from Karuma Primary School. The school survey reports indicate that 17 acres were initially available, out of which 8 acres were taken by the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, while the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development contends that 4.7 acres were acquired. This discrepancy arises from conflicting survey reports between the two. The committee therefore recommends that an independent survey be conducted to resolve the discrepancy in land measurements and ensure accurate documentation and demarcation. Number two, that additionally, a review meeting involving both the ministry and the school management committee and other representatives should be organized to address the issue in order to reach a fair conclusion. On Karuma Hydropower Plant PAP's Orphanage Scholarship Fund, the committee observed that failure to issue clear guidelines risks mismanagement and an ineffective use of the resources, potentially preventing the intended support from reaching the PAPs themselves. The committee therefore recommends that the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, in collaboration with the relevant district local governments, should urgently develop and disseminate clear guidelines for utilization of the Orphanage Scholarship Fund. Number two, that additionally, regular audits should be conducted by the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development to ensure transparency and accountability in the funds management. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, sir, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, after a thorough investigation into the grievances of the project-affected persons of Karuma Hydropower Project that were raised in the petition, the committee has established significant gaps in the implementation of the resettlement action plan and as well as the compensation process. This is characterized by delayed, unfair, and inadequate compensation, protracted resettlement of vulnerable PAPs, which have negatively impacted their livelihoods. The committee therefore recommends immediate government intervention to address these grievances by expediting the construction of houses for relocation of the vulnerable PAPs. That, Mr. Speaker, that outstanding compensation claims should, as a matter of urgency, be implemented. Mr. Speaker, I beg to submit.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. Honourable colleague, this is very straightforward. It is very straightforward. Maybe if it's additional information, additional recommendation. Otherwise, I'm trying to save time because I want to get space for sub-regions to bring brief reports, summary on the issues which have not been captured by the committees. So I want to create that space, and yet I don't have it on the order paper. So I'm trying to save time. I'm only going to allow the woman MP for Nwoya, which is an affected district, and the MP, Honorable Rainer Singope.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues. I want to thank the committee for bringing up and responding to this petition. Right Honourable Speaker, there are so many ministries that are involved in these cases that should be also brought on the table to handle this issue. Right Honourable Speaker, to begin with, the 119 people that are supposed to be relocated from Karuma to Nwoya in Lapono village did not go to court, Right Honourable Speaker. That must be put very clearly. And the people who went to court, the 6 people who went to court, and they are residing in the Karuma Town Council right now, should not be a stumbling block to the suffering people who are supposed to be relocated to Nwoya. We have lost so many from this figure already. There are some of them who have already died of old age.
Honourable.
Yes.
You're repeating what the committee has said. That's what the committee put it clearly. It's very clear. The cases that are in court, the committee didn't even touch. It talked about the people who need compensation and are not in court. So let us not repeat it here.
Thank you for your wise guidance. Right Honourable Speaker, on the land title, the Ministry of Energy bought this land from a family in Nwoya, the 200-acre land. Right Honourable Speaker, if there is any challenge of producing the land title, then the Ministry of Energy should respond to this, because they are the ones that bought the land and they are the ones responsible to process the land title. It's my prayer, Right Honorable Speaker, that this issue is handled today and our people are served, because we are losing so many of them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you, Right Honorable Speaker. My prayer on behalf of the people is we request Parliament through you to expedite the observation and findings of this committee, because our people have suffered, especially on compensation. Most of our old people who were due to get compensation have passed on, and some were compensated forcefully. So we request Parliament to really expedite this process. Thank you.
Thank you, Woman MP Kidiandongo. Honorable Helen.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I indeed want to thank the Chair for the detailed report, and I want to associate myself with most of the recommendations. Right Honorable Speaker, there's one or two issues that I want to comment on. One of them is on social corporate responsibilities. Right Honorable Speaker and members, you are aware that social corporate responsibility is one aspect, important aspect of any development project. But for Kiriandongo district, we indeed got a raw deal. At first, we were promised of a hospital and a secondary school. But later we learned that the hospital was taken to Masindi Army Barracks. To date, we have waited for the only secondary school. We have not received it. And our people are not happy as far as the social corporate responsibility is concerned. We cannot host this very big project and come up with nothing completely. Right Honorable Speaker, on the issue of land title, the chairperson had said it all. But our people are worried, especially those who were compensated, but land has not been transferred in the government's name, so that these land titles are returned to the owners. People are worried they are going to lose their land because, especially when somebody dies, the process of acquiring these letters of administration, they fear the process will be longer for them to acquire their land titles back. Right Honorable Speaker, we pray that this August House works together with the community and also continues to support their cries as they have presented them before the community. It is very true, the people who opted for resettlement have suffered the most. They have been rendered homeless up to now. I pray, Right Honorable Speaker, that we support these communities so that they can really be resettled. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues, I now put the question that the report of the Committee on Environment and Natural Resources on the petition on unfair compensation by the Karuma Dam hydropower project affected persons be adopted. Those in favor say to the contrary, nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Chair, I saw somewhere talking about action by November, but some of these matters are very urgent and they are very specific and they are in the hands of the ministry and the project team. So the minister should bring an action taken report within only 1 month on this matter. Thank you. Next item.
Item 7 on the order paper. Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee on Public Service and Local Government on the functionality of the District Service Commissions and City Service Commissions, personnel management in selected local government districts across Northern, Eastern, and Western region.
Thank you, Chair. You are our host. You know what time means. So I know you will use as little time as possible, but you cover the subject matter efficiently. Honorable Mapenduzi.
Thank you, sir. Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker, sir, permit me to present the report of the Committee on Public Service and Local Government on the functionality of the district service commissions and city service commissions, and on the personnel management in selected local governments across northern Uganda, eastern and western region. And as I embarked on that, Right Honourable Speaker, permit me to lay the minutes of the meetings and together with the report of the committee to that effect.
Honourable yes, I'm sorry. I scanned, I couldn't see any minister from Ministry of Energy. You know, Honorable Nyamutoro has a precise size, so the poll was able to cover her.
Thank you, sir.
I didn't give her an opportunity. I think she wanted to clarify just a few things. Yes. I'm sorry about that. The Hansard team will see a way of rearranging this. So let's give her a chance, then Honorable Mapenduzi will resolve.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Allow me thank the Chair for the well-elaborate report and also present some of the responses from the Ministry on the petition by project-affected persons under the Karuma Hydropower Project. Right Honourable Speaker, on the issue of outstanding compensation claims, as the committee rightly mentioned, out of the 125 outstanding claims, 6 are civil suits that are before the courts of law, and the ministry is seeking the support of the Attorney General to expedite closure of these cases. The remaining 119 claims relate to physical resettlement in Lapono village in Nwaya district. And the ministry is currently engaging NEMA, Nwaya District Local Government, to fast-track the necessary approvals required to commence procurement of contractors to construct the physical resettlement facilities. The ministry has also budgeted for the construction of the resettlement facilities in the budget of the financial year 2025-2026, and our prayer is that this request is prioritized during the allocations and releases. Right Honourable Speaker, on the issue of compensation of ghost landlords, the ministry takes note of the committee's recommendation and will immediately commence investigations on the alleged ghost landlords and report back to Parliament. The ministry also takes note of the committee's recommendation on the compensation of rightful owners subject to the findings of the investigation. On the issue of evaluation of resettlement of the resettlement action plan, Right Honourable Speaker, the ministry is committed to fast-track the outstanding resettlement action plan. And in line with this, we have engaged the services of a consultant to address the outstanding RAPs and grievances under dam site. The consultant has constituted a grievance redress committee at village, sub-county and district level to support the process. Additionally, the ministry is engaging the Attorney General, NEMA, and Nwaya District Local Government to fast-track the necessary actions required to close the outstanding civil suits and attain approvals necessary to commence procurement of contractors to construct the physical resettlement facilities as well budgeted for in the financial year 2025-2026. The remaining period of the financial year 2024-2025 shall be used to attain the necessary approvals and procurement of the contractors. Right Honourable Speaker, on the same issue, of grievances of the persons that were not adequately compensated as attached in the annex, The ministry takes note of the committee's recommendation, but observes that out of the list of the 29 project-affected persons, 18 are listed as plaintiffs under Civil Suit 30 of 2017, Helen Labeja and 60 others, Vice Attorney General and others. As for the remaining 11, the ministry commits to investigate and take appropriate action through the grievance redress committees. On the issue of purchase of relocation land for the PAPs, the ministry takes note of the committee's recommendation and would like to inform Parliament that due diligence was carried out before purchase of the subject land, and confirmation of ownership was supported by the Chairman Area Local Council 1 of Lapono Village, Pabali Parish, Anaka Sub-County, and the Chief Administrative Officer of Noya District Local Government. The ministry is currently in possession of the original land title and transfer forms pending subdivision. The land is to be subdivided and transferred in the names of the individual project-affected persons. On the issue of carrying out boundary opening of this required land to mitigate or prevent encroachment, we take note of the committee's recommendation and commit to update the boundary opening report that was prepared during the design of the facilities. Right, Honorable Speaker, on the issue of resettling the 119 households in accordance with the resettlement action plan, the ministry commits to expeditiously resettle the PAPs subject to availability of funds for the construction of the facilities. On the issue of the ownership of the land acquired in Noya to be transferred to government awaiting parcelling of the said land to the resettled PAPs, the ministry commits to transfer the land title to government of Uganda following the boundary opening before subdivision and transfer to the resettled PAPs. On the issue of status of relocation of vulnerable PAPs, Right, Honorable Speaker, the ministry commits to resettle the PAPs subject to availability of funds that have limited us over time in starting the construction of the needed facilities. Right, Honorable Speaker, on the issue of failure to return land titles for uncompensated PAPs, the ministry commits to identify the outstanding land titles, subdivide them, and return them to the rightful landowners. On implementation of social services, I entirely agree with the committee's recommendation. On implementation of Community Development Action Plan, the ministry entirely agrees with the committee's recommendation and commits to put it into action. On completion of the mosque at Karuma, the ministry commits to expedite the completion and handover by December 2024. Currently, the contractor is on site and works are ongoing. On refurbishment work for Karuma Primary School, the ministry would like to inform Parliament that the contractor to undertake works was jointly procured by Kiriandongo District Local Government and the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. However, the designs, bills of quantities, supervision of construction works, and clearance of payment certificates, including issuance of the completion certificate, was undertaken by Kiriandongo District Local Government, as was agreed in a memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. On ensuring corrective measures are implemented immediately, including replacing substandard materials with those specified, we commit to undertake any required corrective measures that have been identified. Right Honourable Speaker, on the issue of land wrangle at Karuma Primary School, the Ministry totally agrees with the committee's recommendations and commits to put these in action.
Yes. Procedure. Minister, continue until he gets a microphone.
Right Honourable Speaker, on the issue of acquisition of land titles for public institutions, a consultant was procured to undertake titling of all project land as well as processing.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, the Minister's response is too casual by saying it depends on the availability of funds. Right Honourable Speaker, without giving the time frame, leaving those people in suspense, government may take even 10 years by saying we have not yet got the fund. Right Honourable Speaker, is it procedurally right for the minister to give a blanket statement? I would love the minister to give us a time frame, or you put in the budget for the particular financial year for those people to be compensated. But such a casual response, it puts our people into suspense. I beg to move.
Thank you. Now, honorable colleagues, you see, a minister is not giving her opinion. And a minister on such issues, especially which have budgetary implication, she cannot come and say, because I'm a minister, I'll put in this money. No. Otherwise, you're going to force her to lie on the floor. The minister must go back and consult with the treasury, with the cabinet, and they put in money. I think what is very important, but Honorable Tinka Simire, you're a senior. You know, when the speaker is speaking, you're supposed to be quiet. Now, when the speaker is speaking and you're raising procedure. Yes, so the minister, we are protected under our rules of procedure, Rule 220, where we again ask action taken plan. Okay? That's why I've said under Rule 220, you'll come back within 1 month. You show us which action have you taken on the recommendations adopted by the House. And then that's where we shall go into the nitty-gritties. But also sectoral committees, when they are budgeting, they have to go back and say, we resolved on this. Why didn't you include it in the budget? So, but otherwise, for now, I don't want us to crucify our dear sister here, to force her make declarations on behalf of cabinet without further consultations. Well, let's be fair to her. Honorable Tinka Simire. There is a microphone nearby. Honorable Tinka Simire.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, sometimes I have to sympathize with you when you have to balance sides of the executive and the people of Uganda. Mr. Speaker, you are aware of the provisions of Article 26 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. For avoidance of doubt, it says that compensation shall be timely. Compensation, which is referring in the direction of our rules, where you have to give a lot of time to the minister. I don't think that it is complying with the Article 26 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. The guidance I am seeking, in the first where you have the Constitution saying this, and the rules giving you a leeway to balance. How do we proceed? Right Honourable Speaker. In the face that our people are suffering, because I can't give you my land to carry out a project. Then you want me to wait for 3, 5, 6 years. No, it is unacceptable.
Thank you.
That's why people are running to court. Because the Constitution says timely.
Thank you. Now, honorable colleagues, when you are seated in positions like we are seated in, you should avoid making resolutions in vain. You have to be cautious. Either you want to appease the public that you talked and you resolved, or you know you have to be practical. That's why your resolutions are advisory. So even if now I say, Minister, tomorrow I want you to go and compensate, and she has no money, what will it tell you? Did you include this money in the budget? No. So if it is to be paid urgently, she has to go, process a supplementary, come back here, you approve it. And that's why I was very cautious. If you had me after your resolution, I said, honorable colleagues, this is an urgent matter. Therefore, honorable minister, come back within 1 month. And also, that's why there is a window. Where someone feels the route for parliament is short, they take the one of court. There are those who have taken the one of court, because the one of parliament will remain advisory. But the one of court is mandatory. So, honorable colleagues, I don't want to sit here and I feel I can direct that pay tomorrow and then money will be released. No, I know I don't have that power, unless I want to lie to myself. So I want us to remain within the limit of what kind of power do we have, not to give false hope where you cannot have. Even court, by the way, even if court declares that go and pay, it brings in the element of interest because it knows someone might not be able to raise money. Therefore, they say, for the time you've not paid, please go on paying interest until you get the payment. So let's work together, honorable colleagues. Let's be harmonious. Let's support the minister in her endeavors to get this. And in 1 month, we shall call her back to come and explain what they've done, because some of the items are budget neutral. Okay? Those which are budget neutral, she should be able to expedite the process quickly. Those which require money, she will come here and we support the budgeting process. Honorable Nyamtoro, honorable colleagues, I can tell you, I don't know whether you have a shop where you'll go and I buy time. Okay? I don't direct me a shop in Gulu where I will buy more time to complete these matters. If we continue with this procedure, you know. Honorable Nyamtoro.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, on the issue of acquisition of land titles for public institutions, a consultant was procured to undertake titling of all project land as well as processing land titles for the public institutions affected by the project. The consultant is currently on site. On the issue of grievance handling mechanism, for the remaining 11, the ministry commits to investigate and take appropriate action through the Grievance Redress Committee and report back to Parliament. On the Karuma Hydropower Plant, PAP's Orphanage Scholarship Fund, the ministry agrees with the committee's recommendation, and however, our prayer is that the audit is undertaken by the Office of the Attorney General on the issue of regular audits to be conducted to ensure transparency and accountability in the fund's management. Right, Honorable Speaker, like the chairperson of the committee rightly stated and supported by the area members of Parliament from the project affected areas, this is a matter of not just urgency, but also very sensitive to the communities. The ministry is working tirelessly to see to it that we have these project-affected persons settled, and we call upon the support of Parliament in seeing that our budgeting for the financial year 2025-2026 is prioritized during allocations to enable us have this issue settled once and for all. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, our advice would be that, like Honorable Tinkasimire said, these are issues which are very straightforward in terms of the law. Present a case to Cabinet and see, we have passed very many supplementaries. I know you're going to bring many supplementaries. I don't think would reject the supplementary of compensating these people who have suffered for long, whom you've been told are dying and all that. So we request we don't wait for the budget of 2025, 2026, but we handle it urgently.
Much obliged, Right Honourable Speaker. We shall duly report back to Parliament in a month's time.
Thank you, Honourable Nyamutoro. Honourable Mapenduzi, you can resume.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I had requested for permission to have laid on table a copy of the minutes of the committee and also a copy of the report. So I beg to lay, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, this report is rather bulky, and in the interest of time, I'll request that you permit me to take the House through an executive summary that I have prepared. And as I had said, Right Honourable Speaker, this report looks at the functionality of the District Service Commission and City Service Commissions, and also on personnel management in selected local governments across northern, eastern, and western region. Right Honourable Speaker, we already know the mandates of our committee, and in line with these mandates, the committee conducted an oversight visit to selected cities and districts of northern Uganda, such as Arua, Maracha, Terego, Yumbe, Zombo, and Moyo in West Nile, Gulu District, Gulu City, Noya, Kitgum, and Pade in Acholi, Moroto Municipality, Moroto District, Amudat, Nabilatuk, Karea, Kabong, Kotido Municipality, and Kotido District in Karamoja, and Lira City, Lira District, Amolata District Local Government, Kole, and Otuke in Lao, to assess the functionality of the District and City Service Commission and to analyze the personnel management issues within local governments. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee has made a comprehensive report with a detailed version of its findings, observations, and recommendations, giving examples and scenarios from local government to bring out the issues affecting the functionality of these commissions and the staff. Without prejudice to the comprehensive report, this executive summary highlights the key issues as follows. Committee findings, observations, and recommendations. On the functionality of District Service Commission, Right Honourable Speaker, number one, we look at gaps in the commissions. The committee found out that 98.6% of the District and City Service Commission were functional by end of financial year 2022-23, and most commissions were fully constituted. However, there are some districts that are non-functional with insufficient number of commissions. For example, Amuda District had only one District Service Commission member, which severely affected the recruitment processes, leading to delays and increasing the risk of corruption. The committee recommends that the Ministry of Local Government, together with Public Service Commission, should ensure that all commissions are fully constituted for efficient service delivery in local governments. Number two, on delays in Public Service Commission approval processes. The report highlights delays by the Public Service Commission in approving Service Commission nominees, often without providing reasons for rejection. This lack of transparency and delayed approvals impede the recruitment process and affect service delivery. In Moyo, delays in submitting approved names to the Service Commission were noted, attributed to negligence. The committee also noted poor grievance handling by the Public Service Commission, which has been slow in responding to appeals, leading to prolonged disputes and inefficiencies. The committee therefore recommends the following. One, the Public Service Commission should fast-track the approval of Service Commission appointees. When appointees are rejected, the Service Commission should provide clear justification and recommendation to local governments on the criteria needed for approval. Two, the Minister of Public Service should establish and enforce clear guidelines on the timelines for submitting nominees for District Service Commission membership and ensure prompt approval by the Public Service Commission nomination once nominations are made by the district councils. Three, the Public Service should handle appeals before it within the timelines stipulated under the law and should give a report to the committee on all appeals handled by it every financial year and a summary of such appeals. Right Honourable Speaker, on number three, we look at inadequate funding for District Service Commission and City Service Commissions. Right Honourable Speaker, District Service Commission and City Service Commission face significant funding shortfalls and late releases. While the government provided an additional 25 million shilling for each service commission in this current financial year, this is still inadequate given their responsibilities. Low retainer fees, sometimes as low as 30,000 shilling per month. In certain districts, especially in Karamoja, compromise the independence and integrity of commission members, leading to potential corruption. Committee recommendations: the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development and Public Service Commission should consider an increase in funding for service commissions from the consolidated fund to reduce reliance on local revenue. 2, Minister of Public Service and Minister of Finance should consider a monthly remuneration for members of Service Commission, just like the chairperson. Right Honourable Speaker, only the chairpersons get emoluments monthly, while the other members stay only with the retainer. This will help to motivate the members and attract competent persons to occupy those positions. 3, Minister of Finance should ensure that the funds of the commissions are released promptly to enable the district and city service commissions execute their mandates effectively. 4, lack of independence. Right Honourable Speaker, district service commissions and city service commissions are supposed to operate independently, but they face undue influence from political leaders, technical staff and communities. Allegations of corruption and bribery are common in almost all local governments, especially in handling recruitment processes, although most of them are not formally reported and most times evidence are not provided. The committee recommends the following. 1, to roll out the e-recruitment system across all local governments to reduce physical interactions and corruption. 2, anti-corruption agencies should strengthen reporting mechanisms and take action to ensure recruitment integrity. 3, the Inspector General of Government and other agencies should conclude investigations into irregularities swiftly to maintain service delivery efficiency. 5, operational challenges. Right Honourable Speaker, many district and city service commissions face operational challenges such as understaffed secretariat, lack of appropriate office space and inadequate equipment, things like computers and storage and cabinets and so on. Most local governments lack essential staff and office resources, forcing them to borrow from technical officers, which in turn compromises confidentiality and independence of the Commission. Recommendation: the Ministry of Public Service and Local Government should ensure that the service commissions have sufficient staff, office space, furniture and equipment to ensure their functionality. Number 6 is lack of training and induction. Right Honourable Speaker, just to take you a summary of that, we found out that most of the service commission in the districts and cities did not receive training. And we recommend that the Minister of Public Service and Public Service Commission should ensure that all the commission members are inducted immediately after assuming office and receive continuous training to effectively execute their mandates. On terms of reference number 2, level of effectiveness of the Service Commission in handling appointments, promotion, and disciplinary actions. Local governments generally reported appointments, promotion, and disciplinary actions are handled promptly and in accordance with the law. Mechanisms to ensure fairness and transparency, such as merit-based recruitment, public advertisement, and feedback channels like suggestion boxes are in place. However, the effectiveness of these mechanisms varies. There is a lack of effective formal mechanism to address citizens' concern related to the recruitment processes. Complaints committees are often non-functional in many of these entities, and the entities lack proper filing, archiving, and record-keeping systems. Recommendations: accounting officers should ensure that the complaint committees are duly constituted and functional and empowered to address the concerns of the people in their areas of jurisdiction. 2, the entities should strictly follow or continue to strictly follow the guidelines on recruitment to ensure transparency and open feedback channels. on terms of reference number 3, Right Honorable Speaker, on recruitment processes and staffing gaps. 3.1, recruitment. The committee noted that while local governments claim that recruitment, promotion, and disciplinary processes were transparent and followed public service guidelines, many issues of corruption, favoritism, and nepotism were reported. Allegations were made during public interactions, such as a radio show on Voice of Lao, where a caller accused the commission members of soliciting bribes like 5 million shilling to guarantee jobs. The Service Commission chairpersons denied the allegations, attributing such allegations to disgruntled applicants who did not qualify for the position. However, the committee found out scenarios pointing to nepotism and favoritism where children or relatives of commission chairpersons, commission members, and staff were appointed despite having less or no years of experience compared to other applicants, and where other applicants who were not qualified candidates were sidelined. There were also scenarios where candidates who failed aptitude tests and interviews were nonetheless appointed, and we found this in Gulu District, Right Honorable Speaker, where several people who failed interviews ended up getting appointment instead of those who passed. There were also raising concerns about the fairness of the process. On the other hand, the committee discovered that non-local candidates or people who do not come from areas, specific areas where the interviews are carried out, were being discriminated against. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee also noted cases where jobs that should have been internally advertised were advertised externally, neglecting the existing experienced staff. Some job adverts even failed to list job experience or some important qualifications as a requirement for job positions, even at senior level. In some cases, key documents like independent score sheets were missing on their recruitment files during the committee's interview. A general concern was noted, Right Honorable Speaker, that local governments deliberately keep positions vacant and ring-fenced for years until their preferred candidates meet the qualifications. The committee recommends the following. 1, the Minister of Public Service should ensure that members of the District and City Service Commission implicated in corruption tendencies and investigation by anti-corruption agencies should step aside until such investigations are concluded to preserve the integrity of the Commission and to prevent intermeddling in evidence. 2, the police CIDs, in relation with Public Service Commission, should investigate the appointments that have been highlighted in the report with a view of possible prosecution. Right Honorable Speaker, we have attached and we referred several of these matters to the police, and we appeal to Parliament to ensure as recommended. 3, the committee acknowledged that being a child or a relative of a civil servant or politician should not be a barrier for employment. However, all applicants should have equal employment opportunities based on merit. 4, the investigation by the IGG and other corruption agencies, anti-corruption agencies, should be concluded and pending reports should be released. Right Honorable Speaker, we realize in many districts there are several investigations and have taken so long, and so all the processes get affected. Right Honorable Speaker, on 3.2, factors affecting staffing in the district and cities, the committee noted the following. Failure to attract staffing in key positions. There were difficulties in filling critical roles like the district health officers and district engineers due to low wages and high qualification requirements. For example, districts like Kole and Bukwo struggle to retain staff in hard-to-reach areas. The committee recommends the following. Minister of Public Service working with professional bodies should review the requirements for recruitment of critical positions such as district engineers with a view of addressing the challenge of failure to attract registered engineers at local government level. This will address the gap where currently there are only 25 substantially appointed district engineers across the entire country. The rest are all acting. There should be special consideration for hard-to-reach areas. On long acting periods and delayed promotions, Right Honourable Speaker, staff often remain in acting positions and on assignment beyond the period mandated under the law and also face delays in promotion. There are local governments that have not had substantive staff for many years and local governments have no heads of department. Mr. Speaker, we discovered like in Arua district, there is only one head of department, substantial appointed, and is due for retirement next month. The rest have been acting. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee recommends that local governments should, subject to the relevant laws and guidelines, enable accelerated promotion for qualified and deserving staff, especially those that have been in acting capacity and assignment for long. On junior staff in acting position, Right Honourable Speaker, the committee discovered in local governments that junior staff are often appointed to high-level positions due to favoritism and political interference, despite the presence of qualified senior staff. This practice has been observed in districts such as Gulu, Pade, and Noya, and is detrimental to staff morals and career development. These junior staff make blatant errors while acting in such positions because they lacked the requisite expertise for such offices. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee recommends that assignments and acting duties should be based on seniority, experience, and merit. Number 4, impact of low pay and discriminatory...
Honourable Chair, I have a suggestion. This is a critical report that is cross-cutting the whole country. I would propose that since you've captured this part, okay, we take it from there, then we discuss it when we resume Parliament. I wouldn't want to rush this, and then we give members a chance to read the report in full. Once we resume, because the issue of public service commissions across the country, it's a very, very big issue. So that now we save time, and we got issues of northern Uganda only. Which, okay, 2 minutes, then we conclude.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for your guidance. In just 2 minutes, when you look at the issue of the impact of discriminatory payment, we have provided details. But let me mention this, Right Honourable Speaker, and in the interest of time, because the rest are with the members and you can look through. Right Honourable Speaker, with your permission, I would like to note that the committee also interacted with pensioners in northern Uganda. And if you will permit, Right Honourable Speaker, we have the representatives of the pensioners who have been here from day one because they have been making follow-up on a number of the issues they raised.
Read that part.
Right Honourable Speaker, on effectiveness in ensuring pensioners access to payroll and payment of arrears. Pension management is problematic, Right Honourable Speaker, with delays in accessing the pension payroll due to data migration issues and other bureaucratic hurdles. Some local governments reported that the transition to the human capital management system delayed pension payment. There were pension arrears reported in these regions, but were largely attributed to errors in pensioners' biodata and budget cuts. Indexation of pension is not being done effectively, and despite review of salaries, pensions are not being reviewed to match the new salaries. We recommend the following, Right Honourable Speaker, that the Ministry of Public Service should reform the pension system to ensure timely pension payments, execute the indexation of pension as per the law required, and adjust pension amount in line with salary increment for public servants. Mr. Speaker, sir, in conclusion, the committee has done a comprehensive report and highlighted with example from the requisite local government all areas of concern in that report with the corresponding recommendations. The committee calls upon the government to address the critical issues raised in this report and ensure smooth operation of all local governments to restore confidence of the citizens in service delivery and the recruitment processes in the country. Mr. Speaker, I am not afraid to say on behalf of the committee that the citizens of this country, and especially in the districts we covered, have lost confidence in the recruitment processes, and government needs to take this seriously. And finally, Mr. Speaker, sir, if you will find it prudent, Through you, I would like to recognize the presence of Mr. Nyego Paulinos, who is aiding the team of pensioners here, together with Mr. Ogal Olwedo, Mr. Menya, all the way from Kampala. There are quite a number of them. You will forgive me, I will not be able to mention all their names. Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, when we are debating in Kampala, they can come back and witness the debate. Because, Honorable colleagues, this is a very, very salient issue. Like I've seen Honorable Pascal Menya had a list he wanted to lay on table of how people have not received their gratuity and, but rules can't allow, that would require me opening debate. So this one we shall handle it when we resume. Honorable colleagues, I suspend the House for 20 minutes maximum. Otherwise I would have done 20 minutes, because there are colleagues who have not moved at all, so that we can have quick lunch and we come back. 20 minutes, because we shall be remaining with only 1 hour to finish the rest.
Abasajja tebaagala kumugamba ngu emmere lirwedde, babadde batidde kumugamba ngu emmere lirwedde.
ng'ennaku z'omwezi 31 omwezi guno ogw'omunaana mu Club Ambiance e Masaka we wagenda okubeera ensi 5 eya Bingwa empaka ez'akamalirizo eza Bingwa n'olwekyo bannabuddu Bingwa tumuleseyo wamwe tutandika ku makya ne Manduso ku Lubeyu nga tukutwaka Woli n'owayamu ne Kyabasa n'olwekyo abantu b'omu kibuga Masaka mwetegeke program gakyali mabaga tugenda kugiweereza butereevu mu kibuga Masaka jangu oteese jangu oweyendowoozayo tosuba omupiira ogw'ebigere n'okubaka wakati wa CBS ne bannabuddu olwo kusaba bbiri ez'ekiro Bingwa Finals zigibweho akawuwo ate n'endiba ya Premier League tugenda giweereza butereevu awo mu Club Ambiance e Masaka Bingwa waggwa tulyoke tusumulula endongo paka kuwulira bubi okuyingira omutwalo gumu n'emitwalo 2 Dax Kateo Kabako Topic Kasente Big Eye Shakira Sharifu Lukenge